Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again so much for watching Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. as we get to spend some time together. I enjoy every single minute we get to spend with each other. You can also find us if you're working at the time of the show. Time it airs, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. You can also find us on all the social media sites, and you can go ahead and take another look all through our Academy of television shows that we've had in the past. So we definitely appreciate you showing an interest, and definitely look forward to being with you every single day. We're going to talk about homework without tears. Homework without tears. 12 homework tips for parents. Yeah, they're going to guide it at us. So, there's one thing about homework, it has to be done. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so we want to make sure the kids enjoy it. It can be a fun time. So enjoy it and learn something at the same time. Get those marks up on those grades. It's time for school. And it's, some of you hasn't started yet. So you're going to get a head start. Let's talk about this. Okay, first of all, summer is over, and school is open. And so it's this whole new thing. A lot of kids, Brad loved going to school. It was fun for him. He got to be with his buddies, and they just, the only thing about him is he wanted to party all the time. So it was constant drag, always trying to get him to just, son, that's good. Have your friends. That's a great thing. But there has to be time for learning. That's what school is all about. So I found this article. It's on blog.mindsearch.org. That's blog.mindresearch.org. So summer's over, we're talking about that. So let's talk about these homework tips. And then I have a few more tips for you as well. Some of these you probably do, and then some you just haven't thought about it. There's some really good tips here. Limit distractions. You gotta have your own zone, okay, for homework. And basically that's what we had. In our room, we were growing up, of course, you had to walk the snow uphill both ways to school. Not quite that bad. But we did have our own room we would do our homework in. No televisions in there. We didn't have cell phones back in those days, so it was pretty easy. My only distraction was looking outside. I love to look at dogs and cats and whatever outside. And another distraction I had was just I loved reading books. I was just really in on Nancy Drew, those old books, and some of those adventure segments that you could pick up and look at during the day. But I agree with this. Definitely limit distractions. It's all different now. Create a homework zone for your students that's away from TV and other places where there could be distractions, such as pets. I mean, that's something else. Greenlee, I'm trying to read a book. My cat Greenlee wants to walk and get in my lap and purr and want me to pet and all that. Make sure you're away from people that are coming and going in and out of the room, and maybe even loud noises. If you're having some work done at your house, get your kids away at the other end of the house. I know what it's like to try to work. You hear drills and guns and hammers and all kinds of those nail guns are really loud, aren't they? Number 2, you got to provide tools. Make sure the materials your students need are readily available. It's helpful to have a stash of pens. Here's the number one thing right here. Okay, you're doing the math problem, and you just see them sitting there, and you say, why aren't you doing your math problems? Why aren't you doing your homework? And I say, I broke my pencil. Take that excuse away. Make sure you have plenty of sharpened pencils right there for them. Make sure that they're not overly tired. Maybe they've had football practice, cheerleading practice, whatever, and they're just a little bit tired. Make them lay down and go to sleep, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, just to rest their eyes. Maybe not even sound asleep, but get a little bit of rest. Think about using a weekend morning or afternoon for working on big projects, especially the project that involves getting together with other classmates. Or if you, like I used to do, and volunteer for digging up moss or something that's in class. I used to do that all the time. Number 4, you got to be positive. If you're dreading doing your work, they're going to be dreading doing their work. They're going to think of it as a big chore. So the attitude you express towards homework can be the same attitude your child acquires. Make it a habit to tell your child that the work they're doing is important. It is, because, and I don't know how many times I would say, what is math for? What am I going to use that for later on in life? Oh man, I got to tell you, kids, you will it's not just your parents saying that. You will definitely use math for everything. I mean, that's one tool you will always use. Um, do your homework too if you have some. Say you're taking classes. You know, a lot of parents go back to school. I did. I went back last year, and or this year, and took a few classes. But you know, sometimes I mean, you want to better yourself, right? Lead by example. So let's see what they say right here. Do your homework too. Show the skills they're learning are related to things you also do as an adult. That's true. If your student is reading, you could be reading too. If your student is practicing math, maybe you can balance your checkbook because they're watching you balance the checkbook and they see how important it is to do math. Number 6, this is a good one right here. Teach, don't tell. That's really important. It's true what they say about being a good example. What you do is worth more than 10,000 words that you could possibly say. So it's important that when asked for help, you give guidance, but not answers. Let them dig for the answers. That way your student learns the material and the concept at the same time. So remember that a lot can be learned from struggle, and that too much help to teach your child that when the going gets rough, someone's got to do the work for them. That's what they're going to grow up thinking. That's not how the real world works. Number 7, cooperate. Okay, teachers will often ask that you play a role in your child's homework. Make sure you're being an advocate for the teacher, okay? You got to be working with that teacher. And follow their direction so you can show that school and home are a team. I've told you guys the story at least once about Brad wanting to be the life of the party. And so he was a ventriloquist, so he could throw his voice. And he was really, really good at it too. So the teacher calls me about mid-season, and she said, I caught him. Well, I didn't argue with the teacher because I knew how he was. He loved being funny. So I said, what did he do? And she said, well, he's been throwing his voice, and it sounded exactly like a dog and cat fighting outside the window. And it's been disrupting me all year long. And then I would just lose topic. She said, I would just forget what my topic was, you know. And she said, but I did catch him. And I said, so you mean to tell me half a year he's been doing this and nobody told on him? She said, no, they're all with him to do this, so I get distracted. So then she went on to say, now listen, that he's a good kid. She said, I don't think he does drugs, alcohol. He's not a mean kid. He just wants to have fun in class. And I said, yeah, but I'm on the same frame you're on. He needs to study. That's why he goes to school, is to learn. So he comes in, and I said, guess what? Your teacher called me today. And he just kind of froze in his steps, and he said, what'd she say? And I said, you need to tell me what she said. And then, of course, he went on about, I was just having fun, didn't mean anything by it, blah, blah, blah. And then so I wasn't telling him a different thing than the teacher was telling him. I said, no, son, you're there to learn. And if you do it one more time, I'm going to embarrass you because I'm going to come to the class and we'll start a hole in the back of your head. It worked. You know why? Because I didn't just start taking up for him. He couldn't do that. He really needed to learn. He really needed to study. No more of that showing out and just having a party all the time. And so his teacher really appreciated it too. And I told her, I said, now you have my permission to paddle him. Of course, she said, they can't do that anymore in school. And I said, well, you tell me, I'll paddle him. So cooperate with the teachers, okay? Number 8, foster independence. It's real important. First of all, it's showing some trust in you and the trust that you have in your child. Some homework is really intended for students to do alone. Now, homework is a great way for kids to develop independence and accountability for lifelong learning skills. You know what's a really fun thing to do? And when I had time, I'd do this. When Brad would have his homework, I would say, so what's your homework about, son? And he'd say, oh, it's about, say, the Civil War or whatever. And I would say, is there something you really like to know about the Civil War? Something that's just burning in you that you just want to really learn about it? And he would say, yes. I'd say, let me see your book. So I'd look through the book and I would find it. Because I'm like a speed reader, and he is too now. And I would say, ooh, I found something that's in here about that. Now, it's about halfway through, but you're going to have to read the front part and the back part to understand what that means. Well, that'd make him dig just a little bit farther, and he'd be a little more interested in it. You know what I mean? So you get involved and just kind of do little things like that. You'd be amazed at how far that goes. And like they said right here, it fosters independence. So from that point on, he would say, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to study about whatever the subject would be." And I'd get his book, because I like to read too, and I like to learn stuff as well. And so I would flip through and I'd go, "Ooh, I found it, but I'm not going to show you where it is. You got to read up to that location, or else you're not going to understand the whole story." And that's why I tell everybody about sound bites. I hate sound bites. Sound bites, you're never going to get all of the information. To me, a sound bite is, I find what I wanted to say, but I'm not listening to the front and the back. I'm not listening to the beginning and the ending of it. It's important your kids learn to not listen to sound bites, and they learn to get right in there. And you're going to create some smart kids. Number 9, communicate. Be sure to talk to your child's teacher and understand the purpose of homework. You need to know what the class rules are. It could be just one little rule, but it's extremely important that you and that teacher, again, are just like that, okay? And by the way, you're going to be one of the parents he actually loves to hear from. Okay, number 10, build metacognitive skills. What in the world is that? Okay, let's find out. See, I don't know. We're going to learn together. Help your child decide what homework is hard and what is easy. Then encourage them to work on the hard stuff first, so they're more alert for the challenging work. That makes good sense. It's kind of like in the business world where you're getting your day started. Start with the thing you don't like doing first and get her out of the way. And then that way you can go on ahead and get the rest of your day going, and it'll be a good day. Set break time. Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. Watch your child for signs of failure and frustration. Let your child take a short break, and if they're having trouble keeping their mind on this assignment, build perseverance, but set time limits to avoid burnout. Think about yourself on your job. If you're doing the same old thing over and over, let's say your job is, let's make something up. Your job is to wind up widgets, okay? So you got an assembly line here going. So I'm winding up widgets and I'm sending it down. I'm winding up a widget and I'm sending it on down. You got to have a break from that. If you do that all day long, let's say you have to do 500 of those a day. You're going to get burned out if you don't take some sort of a break. It's called refreshing yourself. Kids have to do the same thing. So watch your child for signs of failure. It's probably because they just need a break. That's it. And you don't make a big deal out of it. You just say, "Son, daughter, take a break." Number 12, reward progress and effort. When your child has been successful and they are working hard, whether they pass it or they fail it, if they're working hard, you need to reward that. It is a success because they've completed that work. So celebrate success with a special event to reinforce positive effort. But now do it, okay? Now, if you say, "Son, daughter, you complete this assignment and you make at least a B, I'm going to do such and such," make sure you do that. Don't just promise it and not deliver it, because then they're not going to trust you. So that's my idea on that. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to return in just a few minutes.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Let
Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
We're back from the break. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. I love being with you every day. Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 is the live time, but you can always go back and look at some of the segments over and over again. Sometimes I have recipes, sometimes we talk politics, sometimes we talk this, sometimes we talk that. We're talking a lot about family life here lately and about kids going back to school. And, just because you tell your kids to do their homework doesn't mean they're going to do it. So we just had a real good lesson right here. Yeah, you and I had a lesson. And this was on the students' 12 homework tips for parents. So you got to be in on it too. If you're in on it, they're going to take it much more seriously. Okay, now, this is a question that was posed, and I think this is a good question. How much is really enough? So let's see what they say about that. These numbers are estimates, and the actual time doing homework at night can vary with each child's motivation and their interest level. So here's the suggestion. For kindergarten to 2, second grade, 10 to 20 minutes. Sounds logical. Okay, a little bit more as they get older. So from 3 to 6, third grade to the 6th grade, 30 to 60 minutes. Now, if it's mid, high school, 60 minutes, but it varies greatly based on the class load. If they're involved in different things in school, that's going to vary it as well. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of homework. Yeah, there's different types. Not all homework is equal. It's important to know the type of homework your child's teacher has assigned and what the homework policy is. We talked about the policy earlier in the show. So there are 4 examples of homework you might see this year. Number 1 is practice homework. Just as it says, this type of homework is designed to help your student learn and remember key concepts taught in the classroom. Preparation homework. So let's talk about that. So this homework consists of material that really hasn't been taught in the classroom just yet, but those assignments are assigned to introduce your child to the content that will help them acquire concepts taught later on in class. Extension homework. Students were asked to apply their skills to other content or to a special project in this homework style, which is usually assigned over a period of time. It could be, it's a science class and maybe they are learning how to grow food. Maybe something that comes from a tiny little seed that grows into a big bean plant. That's going to take a little bit of time. So that's the session, and that could be a little while before that happens. Integration homework, that's number 4. This homework is similar to the extension, but it often results in a class presentation or an event like a science fair. We used to do that a lot in science, and I loved it. So one time, my project was to gather moss and to figure out what it was. And the teacher wanted to know who had a parent who would help them. And I went, and so Dad and I walked out into the pasture and we just collected moss. And it was a good event for me and him as well. And then to take it to school. So we kept some. He said, well, why don't we keep some here for you to learn here too? And he said, then you and I can learn this together about moss and what it's good for and what it can do for your land. So we did, and I learned as much at home as I did in the classroom, and I learned a bundle in the classroom. That was a fun class. But see, you need to get motivated with your kids, part of the team, right? And you know what? You can learn with them. That's another thing that's pretty exciting. Okay, let's talk about some helpful websites. We got time for those. Helpful websites for parents. Many of us go to the internet. We want to help our students and with homework or play educational games, but with so many websites to choose from, oh my goodness, it can be overwhelming. And you got to identify the most high quality resources. So here are a few resources your student can learn at home. Now remember, this website is blog.mindresearch.org. That's blog.mindresearch.org. And they have all these links right here, but I'm going to go ahead and explain to you the links and what they're about. Okay, there's one that's called Calculation Nation. This site was developed by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and it uses interactive games organized around upper, elementary, and middle grades of math curriculum. Now, the students will need to establish an account to play in order to play online with games that promote learning and practice with fractions, factors, multiples, and more. And the reason I'm explaining this to you is this would be a good thing for I wish we'd had stuff like this when Brad was in school. We didn't have internet. I mean, it was like a brand new concept, internet was. But this would have been so helpful. That way I could have been ahead of him of the game. Then I could have taught him at home as he was being taught at school. It would have put me in the driver's seat at home. Then I would have understood. Then when he asked a question, I wouldn't look like a dummy sitting there. And then I could have had the answer for it. This is a good website. Okay, here's another one, the California Math Council. This resource offers a section dedicated to free math education articles, and activities for students from pre-K all the way through to high school. Thinkfinity. Thousands of math-focused resources that have been screened by educators to ensure accuracy content and up-to-date information that's made available for students. Resources are even grouped by grades and subject area to make finding resources simple. Here's one I think would be good too. They're all good, but I really like this one too. Figure This. Primarily focused on middle school students. Figure This provides math challenges for students and families. You can all learn at the same time. Okay, the Math Forum. This interactive site gives families the option to ask Dr. Math, take on an internet math hunt, or compete in one of the many weekly and monthly math challenges based on grade level. Here you go. You're teaching your children it's okay to compete in something. It really is. They can compete with students all over the world. Illustrative Mathematics. You can visit this site to find mathematical tasks that closely illustrate all of the Common Core standards for each grade. Parents are constantly asking, what is Common Core? What is Common Core? This is going to help you. You need to know what's being taught in school. Okay, the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. Okay, this site is home to hundreds of virtual manipulatives sorted by grade level and interactive tutorials that engage students in algebra, geometry, probability, and measurement. So the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives provides 3 key areas of mathematics: procedural skills, conceptual understanding, and problem solving. Now, while the internet is a great place for students, make sure that if you can find, let me ask you this, do your parents or do you have the old Encyclopedia Britannicas or the old World Book encyclopedias? That's how I learned. There was something about, like, the body human always fascinated me. You remember that? If you're about my age, you'll remember what that was. So they had one, it was just the body human. And it had these little pages. It was like see-through pages. And there would be like this human body right there. Well, if you wanted to know about how the heart was and what the heart was for and the purpose and the different diseases that could come from that, you would just take the human heart and put it over the body human. And it would show you what it did. And then let's just say you have an interest in the kidneys. Maybe you suspect one of your, now you're not a doctor, okay, but you can kind of get an idea on what's wrong with your kids sometimes. Maybe you think there's something wrong with their liver. Maybe you're seeing a little jaundice. Maybe they're turning yellowy looking. You can look in those encyclopedias and you can find, I'm going to tell you, it's really good information. So, because I had hepatitis a long time ago, and I was turning yellow. I knew I had hepatitis before I went to the doctor because I found those encyclopedias. Brad was 2 years old when that happened. And so I was able to look through those, and I said, I can't even pronounce this word. Hepatitis? Is that what it is? Sure enough, that's what I had. There's something about digging. There's something about reaching, finding your own information about things. And you can teach your kids to do that, even if it may not be taught in school. You can have a heads up on that one. My name is Donna. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching.
You have been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it? Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.